Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Eat Grok Love. So today I'm going to be talking about something that's been on my mind a lot recently. I mean, for years, but I don't know, recently I've really been thinking about it. And that is vegetarianism, right? So I know that there are many videos out there about this, and this is certainly not going to be the concise sort of everything you need to know video about pros and cons of eating meat. But I felt like I had to get my voice out there. I am a vegetarian, and I think it's important, so listen up. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to list the responses I often get when I tell people I'm vegetarian, and then they usually have some reason why they are not vegetarian. And so I'm going to list the common responses that I get and then respond to those. The first one is, eating meat is natural. We've been doing it for millions of years. We're part of the food cycle. I mean, we evolved to eat meat. Okay, so yes, that one is very common. I hear it all the time. And my response to that is always, like, of course we evolved to eat meat. We are clearly omnivores. Our teeth and our intestines show that we are omnivores. And yes, we did need to hunt and kill for survival back in the day, but that's not exactly how it works today, is it? Today, what are we doing? We're breeding millions of animals unnecessarily. I mean, you know, today it's necessary because of the industry, but what I mean by unnecessarily is that these animals wouldn't have been alive, if it weren't for us, for purposefully breeding them, mass breeding them, only to live horrible suffering lives and in the end be killed for our consumption. So it's not a natural process, it's a perverse process. I think it's completely wrong and yes, not natural at all. We need meat to be healthy. No, actually that's just completely not true. Vegetarians these days end up being healthier than meat eaters because they end up being more health conscious. And I mean, what used to happen, I guess, before the internet and the ease of which we access information these days, people would stop eating meat and replace that feeling of fullness that they had by eating more starchy foods, whatever the starch of their meal was, like bread and pasta and potatoes. And of course, this would mean they would gain weight, and it's just not healthy, to just replace the meat with starch. No, but if you eat a variety of fruit and vegetables, you actually, what I found is that I discovered fruit and vegetables that I had never eaten before because I became vegetarian. And also ways of preparing food. It's a very interesting, being vegetarian, they've got a lot to prove, so there's all sorts of vegetarian dishes that are really interesting and delicious. So I'd recommend it, even if you do eat meat, go and check out the vegetarian recipes section of wherever you do your cooking from, if you do cook, that is, and you'll see it's very interesting. The other thing you got to think about is, of course, protein, and with protein there are plenty of vegetable sources of protein, and especially if you combine certain foods. I remember reading once about rice and lentils together, and now I never eat rice by itself. I always combine it with lentils. And when you digest rice and lentils together, apparently you get the same protein index. It's digested almost the same as an egg. So yeah, that's worth looking into. And vitamin B12 is something that it's absolutely necessary for our nervous systems and for our digestive systems. You don't need much of it, but it's absolutely necessary, and it's only found in meat and eggs and dairy products. So if you're like vegan, or if you don't eat eggs and milk and that sort of thing, you have to get a supplement for that. Iron is something you can get in all really green vegetables. It's found. It's a little different from the iron in meat in that it's actually better, because with the iron in meat, you will always absorb it, no matter what. If you've got enough iron in your body, you will absorb it anyway, and you could end up with too much iron in the system, which is not good. But vegetable sources of iron, it's a different kind of iron, which is only absorbed if you are running low. But if you've got enough iron, then you don't absorb it. And yeah, so that's it, guys. You can definitely be healthy as a vegetarian. Modern methods of raising and slaughtering animals are more humane. Okay, yes, so this one, it gets to me because, yes, okay, a minority of the industry is becoming more aware because of all the negative attention that this gets, because of the action of vegetarians, the activism of vegetarians and vegans. They are starting to improve things in a few places, but really it's there's two parts to this. Most of the industry is not at all humane at all. There are enough sort of undercover videos on YouTube for you guys to go and check out. It's horrible, and like you really don't. And it's not just meat; it's milk and eggs too. Just go and watch some of those videos. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It is absolutely horrific, horrible. It's things you don't want to watch, right? And yet, like, people know about these things, and yet they still continue to just not think about it and eat their delicious steak or whatever it is. The other part is the humane part. As I said, yes, a minority of the industry is becoming more humane in a way, but still humane. Like, is it the fact that it's not necessary, that we can live healthy lives without eating meat, sort of makes the word humane sound terrible in the fact that we're still overbreeding animals, putting them in less horrible conditions, but still horrible conditions in their lives, and killing them in the end for our consumption. So it's like saying back in the slave days, like, oh no, we have slaves and we treat them a lot more humanely than our neighbors over there. It's horrible. I was raised eating meat, so, it's part of my culture. Okay, that one is just nonsense. Like, it doesn't matter where you live or what part of, what culture you're part of. If you are aware of the problem, if you're aware of the suffering that is caused by eating meat worldwide, then you've got no excuse. Like, yes, if maybe your family eats meat, like everybody eats meat, and in your city or in your country, like South Africa, for example, where I'm from, barbecues are huge. It's like a huge part of the culture. We call them braais. Yeah, it sounds strange in my mouth. I haven't spoken Afrikaans in a long time, but yeah, it's huge there, and that's just the way life is sometimes. If you want to do something worthwhile that you think is, it's a worthy cause, it's often going to be difficult. That's just the way it is for everything. So, a really lame excuse. I'm only one person. What difference would I make? And this excuse is even lamer. Like, really? I mean, think about the way with littering, for example. People, and in fact with littering there's the same sort of mentality actually. People throw down a piece of paper thinking, it's just one little piece of paper, what difference is it going to make? Or one piece of plastic, even worse, like paper at least will biodegrade. But yes, maybe that one piece of plastic is not going to make the biggest difference in the world, but if everybody thinks that way, then you're going to have all these pieces of plastic everywhere, which is the situation that we still have, but it's better now. I think people are becoming more conscious of this. So that's the thing. You've got to think bigger than just yourself and what can you do. Your contribution is helping, no matter how small, and also you being an example can actually really influence the way other people think as well. So it's really more than just the little bit of meat that you are not eating. It's more than that. I just love meat so much, I just can't give it up. It's just too tasty. And this one is just the worst. Like, people who just refuse, they know what's happening, they know the suffering that's caused, but they just block it out because they want to have their juicy meat. It really, and okay, I understand, because I also love the taste of meat. I love bacon, I love chicken, I love beef. I don't really like pork that much. But yes, I love sushi. My God, like, here's a confession. I still eat sushi every now and then now, and I eat it guiltily, but I do. And but the point is, really, that is just the lamest excuse imaginable. It's pure willful ignorance. You know, like, how can you say that? If you're okay, fine. If you're gonna do it, at least say it with some shame, you know. But so many people say this to me, and with this like grin on their face, and I'm repelled by it. I think it's just terrible. All right, guys. So that's the end of the video. I just want to end by sort of summing up. Like, for me, it all comes down to this: there's a certain amount of suffering in the world caused by humans to animals, and if I can contribute to reduce that suffering by any amount, I'm going to do it. Animals have no voices of their own, like, and you guys all love your pets, right? Your cats and your dogs, and you think it's terrible when you hear about these stories of cruelty to animals, to cats and dogs, right? Man, I've got a friend who had cows as pets on her farm, and I saw her playing with them. I've seen many videos of cows playing like dogs. It's all about how we treat them and how we raise them. They are emotional animals, cows and pigs too. I haven't seen an emotional or a happy sheep before. Oh no, wait, I have. I've seen a bouncy happy sheep before. Yeah, I have. But the point is that it depends on how you treat them as to how they're going to behave. People think of cows as these brainless, grass-chewing, like, animals just standing there with nothing in their heads, and they feel just less guilty about the fact that the way they are treated because of that. But it's just a misconception. Yes, it's a misconception where animals are just treated as products. The meat industry, they don't see animals. It's a product. I mean, how many tons of meat, of beef does McDonald's need absolutely every day, for example? One fast food chain. How much do they need to meet their quota, like, every day? And the industry has to provide that. So the animals are seen not as animals and living, feeling beings, but as products to be pushed out as fast as possible and as cheaply as possible. That's the real point. When money is involved, don't think people are going to be all, you know, they're going to treat the animals with as little respect and you know, treat them as horribly as possible, as long as it saves them some money. So that's the state of things at the moment. And one more point, the supermarkets. Like, pay attention next time you're in a supermarket and you're near the meat section. Look at what it actually is. You know, you have these pieces of animals, pieces of flesh, they're slowly rotting, displayed as just another product. You go and pick up that meat pack without even thinking about where it came from, what happened for it to get to that point. And yeah, just think about that. I mean, I find it intolerable. I can't even go near the meat section, and if I have to, I pass really quickly. I find it really disgusting. And at the same time, I like the taste of meat. You guys have to remember that. I understand that part, but if there's a certain way of thinking about it, if you can just see the way it really is, you know, I'm sure you'll feel the same way as I do. So yes, that's it from me. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sure in a few centuries, hopefully sooner than later, we'll look back at our meat-eating past in the same sort of way as we look back at slavery, right? With absolute horror that we could have actually done something like that. So yes, thank you everybody for watching this video. I'm sure you've got something to say, so please say it in the comments. And yeah, I enjoyed doing this video. Please let me know what you think. Give a like, or a like, right? It's on this side. if you like the video. and subscribe if you haven't yet, if you're new, to keep up to date when I post new videos. Again, just a quick note, I know I'm kind of awkward in the videos. I'm still getting used to my face being on camera. So yeah, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.